This week we're going to talk about why I got to wear this stupid hat. Why it's February and I still got to use that. Some brand used tires. Fitment issues on the new radiator. And we're going to do something with this old greasy, nasty rear end. And with any luck, that's going to be gone. And that one too. Stay tuned. Welcome back, Chevette Nation. We'll start this episode off talking about the new tires that I got. I went ahead and got tires for the front. They are a Facebook Marketplace score. I think I got the two of these for $60. I think that was $60. If I would have gone to Walmart, I could have gotten these size tires, $195, $65, $15. Could have gotten them for $50 a piece. I think it was $52 for the second to the bottom of the line. I really don't want Douglas tires. So like $52 for the cheapest ones. And for $60, I got two. They are Kelly. There we go. Kelly. One of the things that I was impressed with, they're not new, but that's a lot of tread. $60, $30 a piece. So I'm okay with that. They are not old tires. I'm sure most of you know you shouldn't run tires that are too old. I'm not sure what that number is for car tires. I think it's probably around 10 years old. Maybe less, I don't know. And they're only a couple of years old. When the guy sent me the picture with the date code, let's meet up. I didn't even bother trying to talk him down or nothing. I figured they were worth what he's asking. Just pay the man. So then, today, I went and had them mounted and balanced. I was a little shocked. Some of you probably saw on the Facebook page where I posted a picture of the receipt. And I said that I know I'm out of touch. I'm reminded that I'm out of touch just about every time I go shopping for parts. However, I walk in with two bare steel wheels, just like those, and two tires. And that's all I've got. That's all I need. I don't have any tires to take off. I don't have any hazardous disposal for old tires. Nothing. Slap on the tires, spin them, hammer on a little bit of lead, ship them out the door. $33 seemed a little steep. Granted, I can argue both sides of this because, I understand the costs of running a small business. Underpaid lackeys that you've got to take care of. The taxes and the fees and the fines and all that BS. Drop a comment. Am I out of line thinking that $33 is too much just for slapping on two tires? I don't know what the going rate is. This is the first time I've had tires mounted in this style for quite a while. It's been a long time since I've had tires mounted. The last set that I bought from my old truck for the last pickup I had, the price of mounting and balancing was wrapped up in the tires. I think the last time I bought new tires would have been in 2008 when I bought tires for my old 72 Suburban. And you can see side by side the original 13-inch versus the new 15-inch. Those new 15s are only about 1.5 inches taller in total diameter. My bad, they're closer to 3 inches. However, here's where they really shine. Look at the difference here. The Chevette tire is 5 and some change, and this is more like 7. So the performance advantage is going to be, it's kind of obvious. Now these are the front tires. These are the 15s. Once I get that rear end narrowed and slipped up underneath the car, I'm going to use these for fitment checking back here. I'm going to have to see where those land in the fender well and then in the inside. And if I have plenty of room with these 195s then I know I could go a little bit wider when it's time to get tires on the 16s. I'm also going to be able to check out how much room do I have for those tires as far as the height goes. There we go. Because again, these 195/65s, a couple inches taller, 3 inches taller, I can go taller on those 16-inch rims. Or if I need to stay this diameter to fit, I can do that too. Now the only problem I'm having right now is those springs are not going to be the same springs I'm going to use. But here again, it's not ready to go in yet now, is it? I may get heavy duty springs and trim them to the elevation that I like and just deal with a stiffer ride. Some of you remember when I got this, I was totally psyched. I mean, look at this thing. It's beautiful. It's thick, it's shiny, it's pretty, 3-row, and it was fairly cheap with 2 cooling fans. I want to toss it in there just for mock-up, if you will, and found out it doesn't fit. I got a battery tray right up here, just above this frame rail. Okay, the frame rail and the battery tray are pretty much at the same spot. Of course, here's the lower radiator mounts. When I went to just toss it in, I come in like this, and you can see over here, it's not fitting. Frame rail's in the way. That's not good. What I'm gonna have to do, and you might be able to see the red marks right here and here, I'm going to end up cutting the frame in, both sides of course, cutting in and then boxing it in, and just basically like a notch on the frame rail. Then I'm going to have to remove the battery tray, or I guess parts tray right now. Don't laugh. It's not like you've never done it. And then I'm going to have to notch in here also. I'm only going to go a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch on this side. On this side, it's probably going to be more, 1 inch on that side also. That's as far as I can go. But once I cut this, and then cut along here also, remove it, then box it in. I could use the piece that I cut out and just like flip it over around backwards, or I still got some of this stuff lying around. It's a little bit thicker, but thicker's always better, right? These lower radiator mounts, they're going to be a win. So you can see right there, the cradle, it fits right in there. Be a total win. So now I'm going to have to clean these up, paint them, make them pretty again. A little more cutting and welding. As far as the upper radiator mounts, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet. I've got a couple ideas. May not even have a problem. It may just go together like it's supposed to be there. I don't know. We'll find out later. I should be able to drop this radiator in and it will fit like a glove. It'll fit just like it belongs there. As far as removing the battery tray, I plan on relocating the battery up onto the firewall. It's an empty place. It's got room, and it moves the weight from off of the nose and past the back of the front tire. And that helps with your front to rear weight ratio. Every little bit helps, right? I'm really thinking of putting this thing on a strict diet. I could get stupid drilling holes. I could get stupid ripping things off. I would really love to see this thing down to 1,800 pounds. And of course, I'll put it up to over 2,000. The more weight I can take off of the car, the less weight I have to lose. Luckily, this is a car without power steering, without power brakes. It's a lower option vehicle, which reduces the weight. I think the accepted rule is for every 100 pounds is 1/10 in the quarter. Once I get all that figured out and get it cut, welded, painted, pretty, get the mounting all sorted out, then all I got to do is figure out hoses. It could just drop together. I've got a couple ideas. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I've mentioned this in a previous episode, but I've figured out I'm going to go ahead and order the smaller supercharger pulley now during the build. I could just slap the engine in there, bone stock, have the computer tuned for the lack of catalytic converters, the free-flowing intake, the lack of an EGR valve, and any other thing I might remove. Plus, there's the lack of the car that the computer is expecting to read also. Once it all gets put together, I would drag it up to Plain City, Ohio, suburb of Columbus, and it's just down the road from where I'm at in London. Take it to Intense Motorsport. They are 3800 experts. They have all kinds of parts for supercharged 3800s like this L67. And I believe they also cater to the regular naturally aspirated. I might be wrong on that. They cater to some of the other engines also. They carry the smaller pulleys. They carry all kinds of performance parts. Maybe not all kinds, but they carry a lot. I figured instead of putting it together, stock, spending money to get it tuned, and then driving it, having fun, and then going and putting a smaller pulley on, because you know I'm going to want a smaller pulley. I'm going to want to go faster. So then I would have to go buy the parts, put it together, and take it back for another tune. If you're cramming that much more air and fuel into it, the computer's not going to know what's going on, and it's going to go into stupid mode. If I spend the money now on the parts, that will put me behind a little bit on the build. The pulley and the snout could cost me, I think it's just a little over $100 I saw. That's $100 I could put into the front brake, rear tires, any of a million things that I need to do. However, I could save that $100 now, but it's going to cost me later because I'm going to have that tuned again, and I'm not even sure what that's going to cost. This isn't going to be just a regular tune that they have as a generic tune, so this may end up costing me quite a bit. I'd love to put it on their dyno. I have no idea what that would cost. Probably not going to happen. But of course, that's bragging rights too. I'm going to go ahead and put the performance parts on during the build. The supercharged pulley, for those of you who don't know how this works, the supercharger runs off of a belt, run off of the crank. The faster you spin that supercharger, the more air it's going to take and cram into the motor. When you compress air, you create heat. Hot air does not burn very well. It's not as efficiently as cool air. When you start raising the intake temperatures, you get to a point where you're not going to be benefiting from the added air. Add to that the fact that the warm air is going to be more likely to pre-ignite, detonate. So then you've got the computer taking timing out, taking out power. You get to a point where you can't make any more power until you start adding like an intercooler, charge air cooler, intercooler. I'm sure it's got a couple other names. But on this, it would be sandwiched between the supercharger and the intake manifold. And that would be raising the supercharger up and probably poking through the hood. I don't really want to do that. If I end up going that crazy, I'll probably cut a hole in the hood and put some kind of hood scoop over it. The early Fox body Mustang, 79 through 82, they had a very good looking squared off hood scoop that just bolts on. I think I saw it online, a reproduction for like 150 bucks. So I'm not going to swap out the cam. I don't need to get this thing into the 11s or into the 10s in the quarter. So I'm thinking maybe just a supercharger wheel pulley, maybe some longer rocker arms. They sell those, and it's kind of like swapping out the cam. You get more lift and a little more duration. But I think as far as performance mods, I think that's going to be it. I'm going to have most of the smog stuff removed. We're going to have a smaller supercharger wheel. Going to have headers, free flow exhaust with no cats, and the longer rocker arms. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet or not, but probably. That's probably as far as I'm going to go with this engine. When I pull the rear end out of the car, yeah, I'll point at it in case you don't know where the rear end is. When I do the one that's in the car, I need to be a little more delicate on this piece. On the Camaro rear, I need to be careful of the tubes, not care about this. But on the other one, I need to be very careful about the pieces I'm cutting off and not care about the tubes. The more careful I am now, the less work I have to do later, like repairing this.
Many unbearable hours later.
Everything in here is going to have a coat of that stuff on it now. Okay, I forgot one bit. Wear a mask. You can't really tell because the floodlights just came on. I got all kinds of rust dust blowing out of the garage right now. It's nasty. I'm spitting up nastiness. I think I'm going to call it quits. You still can't tell how nasty it is. It's bad. Wear a mask. You should have one right now anyways. Until next time, take it easy.